Humans marched through vacuum before they learned they needed spacesuits. That sentence still exists in our oldest military archive. It was labeled impossible. I used to laugh every time I saw it. I no longer laugh. I am Senior Observer Keth of the 13th Memory Fleet. My species remembers everything. Every battle. Every mistake. Every extinction. We believe memory is stronger than courage. Humans believe something else. I still do not know what. Our first assignment around Earth appeared simple. Watch. Record. Predict. Humans were a young species. Violent. Emotional. Short-lived. They fought each other constantly. They divided themselves into tribes, nations, ideologies, and armies. Naturally, I concluded they were weak. A divided species cannot survive the galaxy. That was my first mistake. The humans argued every day. Then they answered every external threat together. At first, I believed this was coincidence. Then it happened again and again. No logical species behaves like that. Their pattern fascinated me. When alone, they competed. When challenged, they united. I reported this strange social reflex to high command. The response arrived only 3 seconds later. Asterisk primitive pack behavior. Ignore it. Asterisk. I obeyed. That became my second mistake. Years passed. Earth expanded quietly. No massive empire. No glorious conquest. No endless propaganda. Instead, they built shipyards hidden inside asteroids. Mining stations inside frozen moons. Fuel depots inside comets. Emergency hospitals in places no military planner would ever consider important. I assumed these were civilian projects. Humans seemed obsessed with preparing for disasters that never happened. Ridiculous. Resources should be spent on weapons. Not rescue. Not evacuation. Not redundant infrastructure. My reports described them as inefficient. Then the Corvin Dominion arrived. They conquered 14 systems in 9 weeks. Entire civilizations disappeared. Their fleets did not negotiate. They erased. Worlds burned. Stations cracked apart. Millions vanished before distress signals reached neighboring stars. The Galactic Council panicked. Every major power gathered warships. Every major power lost. The Dominion advanced without slowing. I watched fleet after fleet collapse. Perfect formations. Perfect discipline. Perfect destruction. Humans remained silent. Exactly as expected. Young civilizations hide. Older civilizations negotiate. Wise civilizations surrender. Humans did none of those. Instead, Earth stopped transmitting entertainment. Factories doubled production. Civilian traffic disappeared. Children vanished from public networks. Power consumption increased by 400%. I assumed fear had overwhelmed them. My report confidently stated, asterisk, human civilization is collapsing internally. Asterisk, High Command praised my analysis. 3 days later, I wish they had executed me instead. The Dominion broadcast a message to Earth. Asterisk submit. Preserve your species. Asterisk, no answer. 6 hours later, another message. Asterisk, refusal equals extinction. Asterisk, still nothing. Their silence confused everyone. Cowards often beg. Heroes often threaten. Humans did neither. The Dominion interpreted this as surrender. They entered the Sol system with overwhelming force. 8,000 capital ships. Thousands more escorts. Enough firepower to sterilize continents. Every military observer gathered. We expected history. Instead, nothing happened. Earth looked abandoned. Orbital stations drifted quietly. Civilian satellites floated motionless. No defense fleet. No interceptors. No orbital guns. I almost admired human efficiency. They had accepted reality. Survival through surrender. Logical. The Dominion commander even laughed. His fleet advanced toward Earth. Then every asteroid in the inner system changed direction. Not naturally, deliberately. Millions of rocks moved together. The Dominion ignored them. Asteroids are harmless. That was their mistake. Tiny lights ignited across every rock. Hidden engines. Entire asteroids unfolded. Armor plates separated. Massive rail cannons emerged from solid stone. Thousands. No, hundreds of thousands. The asteroid belt had never been a mining zone. It had been a fortress. For decades, perhaps centuries, the Dominion fired first. Human asteroids did not evade. They absorbed the impacts. Stone shattered away. Fresh armor appeared underneath, layer after layer, exactly as if the asteroids had expected to be destroyed. Impossible. No military constructs expend that much material. Wasteful. Illogical. Human railguns fired. The first volley erased 47 Dominion cruisers. Not damaged. Erased. Metal became expanding vapor. Shock spread through every observing fleet. The Dominion reorganized instantly. Professional. Efficient. Deadly. They redirected fire toward the asteroid batteries. Then Mars spoke. I had forgotten Mars existed. Its surface split apart. Entire mountain ranges opened like mechanical jaws. Gigantic cannons rose from beneath ancient dust. The planet itself had been armed. No, not armed. Transformed. Every canyon concealed launch tubes. Every crater hid reactors. Every volcano contained factories. I replayed the images 12 times. None of it had existed on our scans. Humans had buried an entire military beneath another planet. Why? Why hide so much? A weapon unseen cannot discourage enemies. Its value is wasted. That is basic strategy. Humans ignored basic strategy. The first Martian barrage crossed space faster than prediction models allowed. Dominion battleships disappeared. Command carriers split into glowing fragments. Their formation finally broke. Victory should have belonged to humanity then. Instead, human ships retreated. Every single one. I almost celebrated. There it was. The familiar pattern. Humans fought fiercely. Then they fled. Cowardice had returned. Everything finally made sense. I transmitted my conclusion immediately. Asterisk. Human morale has collapsed. Continue observation. Asterisk. Seconds later, every retreating human vessel exploded. I froze. Thousands of ships. Gone. Their own fleet. Destroyed itself. The Dominion celebrated. Our analysts celebrated. Even I felt relief. Humans had broken. At last they behaved rationally. Then my sensors detected life signs. Not dying. Moving. Millions of them. Every exploding ship had launched armor capsules. The fleet had not been destroyed. It had shed its skin. The capsules accelerated straight toward the enemy. No engines. Only momentum. Suicide soldiers. Primitive. Barbaric. Hopeless. Exactly what desperate mammals would attempt. I almost pitied them. Then the first capsule struck a Dominion flagship. Not outside. Inside. It passed directly through reinforced armor as though the metal had briefly forgotten how to exist. Silence spread across every military channel. One impossible breach could be dismissed. 10 could be explained. 100 demanded investigation. There were over 3 million capsules. And every single one ignored the laws our universe had obeyed for millions of years. The first capsule should have shattered. Instead, the flagship opened around it like water. I replayed the sensor feed 17 times. The armor remained intact. No hole, no fracture, no thermal bloom. Yet the capsule was inside. Matter had simply permitted it to pass. Impossible. Physics does not negotiate. Humans apparently do. The Dominion flagship erupted from within. Not from explosives. From soldiers. Human Marines poured through corridors before the alarms finished sounding. I magnified the feed. Their armor was scarred. Their oxygen packs were small. Their heart rates were impossible. Every biological indicator screamed exhaustion. Yet they moved faster with every passing second. I reached the only logical conclusion. The humans were replacing dead soldiers with identical clones. No species could keep fighting after suffering such losses. That was my next mistake. They were not clones. They were the same soldiers. Again and again, a Dominion squad cornered 6 humans in a reactor passage. The humans disappeared beneath plasma fire. Confirmed kills. 7 seconds later, those same 6 emerged from another corridor behind the Dominion line. My processor stalled. No teleportation signatures. No quantum displacement. No wormhole activity. Only humans. The Dominion commander demanded answers. No one had any. The battle expanded. Every captured flagship became another battlefield. Every corridor echoed with gunfire. The Dominion held every advantage. Superior armor, superior numbers, superior ships. Still, their advance stopped. I searched for the hidden human superweapon. There had to be one. There always is. Instead, I found logistics. Thousands of invisible cargo drones crossed the battlefield. Tiny, cheap, forgettable. They carried ammunition, medical supplies, replacement armor, food, water. I laughed. The humans were supplying soldiers during a planetary battle. Ridiculous. Wars are decided by firepower, not meals, not bandages, not drinking water. Hours later, I stopped laughing. Dominion prisoners described the same nightmare. They never stopped. We destroyed their weapons. They picked up ours. We destroyed those. They used knives. We broke the knives. They used tools. We destroyed the tools. They used pieces of a ship. Every object became a weapon. Every hallway became a trap. Every fallen human delayed an entire platoon. Every wounded human fought harder than healthy soldiers. This contradicted every military doctrine I had ever studied. My species retreats when survival probability falls below 32%. The Dominion retreats below 20. Humans. I cannot identify the threshold. It appeared not to exist. The Dominion adapted. They vented entire compartments into space. Thousands of humans vanished into vacuum. Finally, a sensible solution. No organism survives naked space. Then my sensors detected movement. Humans drifted between the stars, holding on to broken cables, climbing across shattered hulls. Some had damaged suits. Some had none at all. I rejected the data. Corrupted sensors. That had to be it. Then visual confirmation arrived. A human reached another vessel. He smiled. He knocked on the airlock. The crew opened it. He walked inside. Alive. My oldest archive echoed through my memory. Humans marched through vacuum before they learned they needed spacesuits. I had always believed that record was symbolic. It wasn't. The Dominion unleashed biological weapons, living clouds that dissolved flesh. Entire armies had disappeared beneath those spores. The humans responded by burning their own positions. Fire consumed everything. Dominion spores, human soldiers, equipment. The flames ended. The spores were gone. Smoke cleared. The humans walked out, burned, bleeding, still carrying rifles. One Dominion general finally asked the question every observer feared. What are humans? No one answered, because no one knew. The battle lasted 9 days. No species had ever resisted the Dominion for 9 hours. Human civilians remained hidden. At least, that is what I believed. Then civilian frequencies activated. Not panic. Instructions. Factories became hospitals. Schools became ammunition plants. Musicians assembled drones. Teachers repaired engines. Farmers piloted transports. Children organized supply inventories. Elderly citizens directed orbital traffic. Every human became part of the war. Not because they were ordered, because they simply started. Without command, without permission, without hesitation. My species requires orders. Humans require purpose. Those are not the same thing. The Dominion grew desperate. Their supreme commander activated the last sun protocol. Every observer gasped. A captured star artificially collapsed. Enough energy to erase Earth completely. Even the Galactic Council begged the Dominion to stop. The commander refused. If humanity survives, he declared, nothing else will. For the first time, I agreed with him. The false star ignited. Light swallowed the battlefield. Human fleets accelerated toward Earth. Too late. Far too late. Then every human ship did something absurd. They turned around. Away from Earth. Cowards. Again, I almost pitied them. They were abandoning their own world. History would remember their fear. Then the impossible became ordinary. Every retreating human ship locked together. Thousands became tens of thousands. Tens of thousands became millions. A wall. No, a shield. The largest structure ever assembled in war. Civilian ships. Mining vessels. freighters, hospital craft, research stations, everything, every ship humanity possessed. They placed themselves between Earth and the dying star. No weapons fired. No speeches were given. Only silence. The artificial sun exploded. The shield disappeared inside white fire. Sensors failed. Communication vanished. For 73 seconds, the galaxy saw only light. While my instruments recovered, Earth remained. The shield did not. Nearly every human vessel had been vaporized. I calculated casualties. 98%. No civilization survives that. The Dominion celebrated. Victory at last. Then distress calls echoed across every frequency. Not from humans. From Dominion ships. The blast had disabled their reactors. Their fleet drifted helplessly. Human rescue ships emerged from behind the surviving debris. Rescue ships, not warships. I assumed they were recovering survivors. Naturally. Instead, they rescued the Dominion first. Enemy soldiers. Enemy civilians. Enemy children. The same beings who had tried to erase humanity. I shouted at my display. Wrong species. My translator assumed I had issued a command. No command existed. No explanation existed. A Dominion officer, his body burned beyond recognition, asked a human medic, "Why save us?" The medic tightened a bandage and answered quietly, "Because if we become you, then you already won." No strategy predicts mercy. No equation rewards compassion. No military doctrine teaches forgiveness during victory. Yet every sensor confirmed the same impossible truth. Humanity's greatest weapon had never been the hidden fleets, or the buried fortresses, or the soldiers who crossed vacuum. It was their refusal to let hatred decide who they became. Months later, the Dominion dissolved itself. Not through conquest, through shame. Entire sectors laid down their weapons. The Galactic Council rewrote every law of warfare. A new principle was added above all others. Never force humanity to reveal its full military strength. Not because they cannot be defeated, but because the price of making them fight is discovering that their strongest force was never their weapons. It was the ordinary people who would willingly stand between an entire world and a dying star, and still reach back to save the enemy. And now, whenever young officers mock the oldest line in our archives, I never correct them. I simply wait, because eventually they will learn what I learned. Humans marched through vacuum before they learned they needed spacesuits, and somehow that was never the most impossible thing about them. The oldest line in our archives was never wrong. Humans marched through vacuum before they learned they needed spacesuits, and somehow that was never the most impossible thing about them. Because the greatest force humanity ever revealed was never its hidden fleets. It was the unbreakable will to protect others, even their enemies. And from that day forward, the galaxy never looked at humanity the same way again. If you enjoyed this HFY story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more epic human versus galaxy adventures. Until next time, remember this: never mistake human kindness for weakness.